I've been riding all around town on this bicycle promote with this sign. Telling them this Borderland Tees bike trailer I got behind me. Been promoting t-shirts. See my Tourette's ticking right now because I've been riding all over Knoxville. Promoting. My Tourette's paused and I've been pumping all over the seat promoting t-shirts. Pardon me for stuttering and talking fast. But this is a t-shirt that Borderland Tees made for me. It's a $6 tee. Tourette's for everybody. One of my favorite t-shirts. And I'm promoting, you know, $6 tees right here. This white billboard. You can't see it, but it's $6 t-shirt. You know, Borderland Tees, 802 Severe Avenue. I've just been riding around town trying to get people to buy t-shirts, promote t-shirts, and the t-shirts that I make and promote and buy and wear. And I raised awareness for it was the one that I got on right now. That's what I'm doing right now.
For more than 20 years, Knoxville resident Myles Walker has been living with a neurological disorder called Tourette's. It causes him to have unexpected outbursts and uncontrollable twitches. Well, Myles has accepted this challenge as part of his life. Now he's on a mission to educate others about Tourette's. New at 11, 6 News reporter Josh Alt takes you on a journey with a man who wants to share his difference with others.
Myles Walker was born like any other child. It wasn't until he turned 9 that things began to change.
When I was a kid, I was playing with my red ball. Red is my favorite color. I had this ball, and I was playing in the park when I was back home in Connecticut. So then I was just out and about, running around by myself. No friends, just having fun with myself, and just started making these weird noises like birds and other things. And I just found out, like, hey, something's wrong with me.
Those loud outbursts weren't diagnosed as Tourette's right away. His mother first thought Myles was misbehaving. She used to punish him for his actions.
Because what he would do is he would, like, jerk his shoulders. He would jerk his shoulders, and then he would make noises. And I thought he was playing, and I always, I would tell him, cut it out, cut it out.
Myles was soon diagnosed with Tourette's, and his life would never be the same.
I used to hide myself from the world, basically. That doesn't mean I don't want to go to work, I don't want to do nothing. I would know I would have to talk crazy to somebody.
That attitude changed when Myles became a teenager. He finally realized this was something he was going to have to live with.
My motivation comes from God, as my mother said earlier. Because this is the stuff that I deal with every day, the trials and tribulations that I've dealt with over the years of my life. The stuff that I deal with is always going to be this. I'm always going to deal with, whatever may come that life is throwing at me.
The noises, it's like, if he doesn't make noises, I'm like, where are you at? I can always find him, which was a good thing.
Even though his family supports him 100%, that's not the case for everyone. Police have been called on him numerous times, and he was once escorted out of the Westtown Mall for being a disturbance. One place where he is welcomed is at the Murphy Branch Library in Northwest Knoxville.
It's really almost a non-issue. I think so. Every now and again, we'll have someone that makes a bit of a stink, but, we'll just have to explain, there's nothing in the library policy that says no Tourette's,
Myles has made the personal decision not to use any prescribed drugs for his condition.
I love it. I think I would not be the same person I am. I would immediately want my Tourette's back. Like if there was this new device, other than the one they already have out now, if they had it and said they would just wipe out Tourette's, I wouldn't want it because I wouldn't be the same.
So if you see Myles, just ask. He'll tell you all about Tourette's. In Knoxville, Josh Alt, 6 News.
Now, Walker has written a book about his condition. It's called Me and My Tourette's. This book can be ordered at any local bookstore. He's also in the process of working on a second book so more people can learn about his journey.
At Wayne's apartment, and I hang with him. This is my friend. I love Wayne. I care about Wayne. I hang out with him, watch TV. We talk. We listen to music on his boombox there. Sometimes I cook for him. I nuke some food in the microwave for him. Ain't that right, Wayne?
Yeah.
How you been? How you feeling? I'm doing all right.
It's groggy.
Groggy? I heard that. Say hello to the world, Wayne.
My name's Wayne Cohen. Well, I had rheumatic fever when I was about 5 years old. And I got it after that. The doctor just called it chorea and said it would go away, but it never did go away.
Just a kid just growing up, playing outside regular, start doing some noise on weird things that I'm not familiar with, sure with what my body would do, and I didn't know what it was, you know, just thought, hey, wow, this is different. I had Tourette syndrome. I was diagnosed at the age of 9, you know, making noise like birds and stuff, and I just, you know, for a period of time just kept doing it off and on, and never knew what it was, so I decided to go see a neurologist.
A little crazy stares. I still remember this to this day. We was getting all kind of crazy stares, and you know what I mean, somebody had said something smart to him, you know, somebody had said something smart to him, you know, and I understand, like, you know, I got mad, you know what I mean? I was real young, I got mad because I was like, hey, my brother got a condition, you know, and when your brother got a condition and you're not really knowing, oh, how does the outside world think, you know, then at a young age, you see something like that, you're like, oh, shoot, you know what I mean? Like, people, you know what I mean, gonna try to come at my brother weird, you know? So it kind of changed me a little bit. After that time, that one time, you know, I start thinking about it more. Start thinking about, like, damn, you know, he gonna have it rough growing up, you know what I mean? Because, you know, he gonna walk into a room, make some noise, and some people might think, oh, he coming at me a certain way, and not even know, have no clue. You know, he can walk into a Walmart right now and getting crazy looks, and people looking at him like, you know, like he done did something wrong, or not even knowing, you know what I mean? They just think, I guess people just walk into Walmart on the day of the store and just make noises, you know?
I have a startle response sometimes, and I still do.
Right.
And I've always appreciated the fact that you don't get offended by that.
Right.
Most of the time, I just filter it out,
Right.
you know, and
Right.
I learned that pretty quickly.
Right.
But sometimes, every once in a while, I will jump.
Right.
And I feel bad sometimes when I jump, but you never make me feel bad. That's what I like about the way you handle folks and your Tourette's.
People not aware, you gotta make them aware. You know, it's a progression period. Seeing what does the Tourette's do? You know, what stage I am. It's just like the doc making how can I say, if you was to put Tourette's in a class, what class like would I be in? Would I be mild, strong, severe? You know, how is my movements, temperament? Am I loud? And it was mild. It wasn't full blown. You know, it wasn't severe. It wasn't strong. It wasn't all these wild movements. You know, it was just maybe a little noise here, there.
I don't think it's hard at all dealing with Myles and his Tourette's. I think once you understand what's going on, you know, at first, I think most people are just naturally going to try to figure out, you know, what it's all about. But once you do, the tics just sort of fade to the background, and you listen to for, you know, whatever he's talking about, and it's pretty easy.
Oh, it's great. Hear that noise coming down the street. It's, oh, here he comes. Look out. It's going to be fun. See what's going to happen. He's so kind to everybody, which is really, like Dorothy has said. He's so kind to everybody. You got to like him. Just a real sweet disposition.
What I know about Myles Walker is I met Myles through the Boys and Girls Club, through one of my children that went, my boy Brian. I think he's just a big inspiration. The kids love him. I know my boys do. Every time we see Myles out in the community, he's always, Mom, Myles is here, Myles is here. Or we see him in the grocery store, Mom, can I go back and see Myles? I mean, I think Myles, even though he lives with Tourette's, he doesn't let Tourette's live him.
And there have been people here who have met you, and then after you leave, they'll say, "Oh, I'm so embarrassed, I jumped." You know, I'm like, he doesn't care. He knows, you know, he's used to that. That happens all the time. So.
Right.
Even when he's out on his bicycle, he's never down and out. I mean, I've seen Myles on that bike and it's raining. I'm like, well, what is Myles doing out in the rain on that bicycle? But he's never even in a bad day. I mean, he's been Myles.
You know, now we know what it is to determine, you know, why he's off and on doing it. You know, because mom had no recollection. I didn't know what it was at all. I just know, like, wow, I'm doing stuff I wouldn't normally do. You know, make noises and jump, my body do things, I say stuff, I vocalize things.
No, my Tourette's is on the inside now.
So Wayne's not vocal. Wayne has a type of Tourette's that's very quiet. some of his movements are body movements where he gets up and he moves around and he stands up.
My tics, I gulped a lot, and jerked, you know, like this.
I like that. He comes in here, any work to do, he just does it. He just jumps in and starts doing it, whether he knows how to do it or not. And he has a good time. He wants to do it. He wants to help out any way he can. And all the guys like him because of that. He's good at it. When he first started coming around, he's kind of like, man, what's that dude? Making a lot of noise and everything, you know. And before, after it wasn't too long, though, we realized he's a good man and a real asset to us around here. Yeah. Keeps us awake.
Yeah. I mean, Myles is a good guy. Myles is a very intelligent, very caring guy. You know, he has this syndrome, but he doesn't let it stop him. He's out there promoting, just taking over the world, man. That's what I like about Myles. He's a go-getter. He really is.
I mean, without him, I don't have my T-shirt on now, but without him, I won't be able to promote my T-shirt. It's a massive screen print.
I mean, you know, like everybody that comes in here and you do that, it scares him. Like, he got Tourette's. It's like he got Tourette's, man. He can't help it. It's, you know, just, you know. I said, once you get to know Myles, Myles cool as hell. That's small. I see he's very caring. That's the thing, man. Myles cares about everybody and stuff. You know what I mean?
Thank you. Thank you.
You're doing a good thing. I mean, I enjoy seeing Myles out in the community. I mean, because the kids love him. I mean, it's all about the kids.
Everybody loved my brother. Everybody knew he had Tourette's. You know, he never had that problem. You know, it's 50-50. You know, you got some people that understand it. You know what I mean? It's some people that they're curious. They want to know. And then you got some people that's just like, he just, you know what I mean? If you don't know him or know him at all, then you just like, what's his problem? You know what I mean?
I don't know what it might be like on a long road trip or something in a car, but I don't think Myles' twitching's ever gotten to me, no. Because we filter it out. I just filter it out.
You can't tell Myles how to do anything. He gets insulted if you try to tell him how to do something. Even though he's never done it before in his life, he's got a lot of pride, a whole lot of pride. And I think that keeps him going, though. That's a good asset as well as a liability, but that keeps him going, that pride that he has in himself and self-confidence. But sometimes it's annoying because he won't let me teach him anything. Just goes about doing what he does. That's fine. We're all like that a little bit.
It's really an inspiration that, you know, that he continues on doing what he do and he lifts other people up, not just himself, through him.
Well, I'll be sitting in my office and having a nice, quiet, calm day and pretty well almost dozed off. And this loud noise will come in and wake me up. And I'll have to get right to work and run around, jump up and down and see what he's about. And then I get happy because Myles is here. I always get happy when Myles is here. I know everything's going to be just fine.
Right.
So I just went ahead and lived my life.
Right.
And the symptoms were worse. I take medicine to sleep because the energy it makes it difficult for me to sleep.
Didn't know, you know, I wasn't sick. I didn't go to the doctor. I just figured these pills would help. I don't know why I took all them pills. I don't know why I took all them pills. Only thing I can say that will help my Tourette's, honestly, and it's proven fact, not just because it was marijuana had many different jobs. Only way it affects my job is just by people staring, looking, not knowing what's going on. Telling you know, I can work any job, I'll do any job. It's just, I don't make noise, you know, but it's just as far as it doesn't affect me. In a way it does. Well, if it comes to discrimination part, we talking, you know, telling them about going to see a job, going to, you know, and the person might determine, I don't think they can work or not. They make these movements or sounds, or I don't want this person at my job site or, you know, job because they'll affect my business. So it affects, like if it affects a person's life because it can affect somebody's income, somebody's life, telling, you know, somebody's dreams, somebody's hope, you know, somebody having Tourette's want a job. it is affecting. I apologize for saying this now. It is.
To get a job because of it. People mistook it for mental illness. Yes. It's too late for me now, but
going to a job, went to a party. It used to be called party rentals. It's called all occasions now. And a guy, manager by the name of Terry Robinson something. Anyway, he manages the place to this day. I went to that. I hadn't been in that job in years. I used to work there. It's a place they set up tents and tables and chairs for all kind of events and gatherings, church events, weddings, whatnot, blah blah blah. Long story short, I was working on that place. I hadn't worked there in so long. Ended up getting a call to work, after being jerked around so much, having the Tourette's. So I get to the job, I'm moving around and stuff. I go to use the bathroom, long story short. The main manager, Terry, he comes out and what tells his manager under him that he don't want me working there. And his body language, he's talking to him. So the gentleman, who's uncle or buddy of mine, he says, "Myles, I love you, blah blah. You got Tourette's for him." And this guy didn't. The uncle I'm speaking of, I feel he could have done more to help due to the situation. To be like, this ain't right. This is, and I know he had to save his own ass, because that's his job, it's his livelihood or whatever. So Terry's like, I don't want to hear it, but when I just went to use the bathroom, I come back. Tyler was like, you gotta go, but he wasn't man enough to tell me face eye to eye. And I knew what it was. Like, cool, I'm not gonna trip. I didn't cause no fuss. Today, something named Myles, I love you, boom, but it's your Tourette's. And it's like, I know what this is about, So the guy discriminated me. I showed no love, no support for that place.
I'm not sure that it helps any. Like I say, it's all on the inside now. I just feel this tremendous energy inside of me. And so there's no symptoms to treat.
I'm on disability right now. I've been on it for a little while. In transition of since the last job I worked, which was several years ago. I've had many jobs. Like I have some jobs here, some in Nashville. Like I've traveled around. I can hold the jobs. Not, my Tourette's don't affect me from not going to work, getting up, doing the work.
It showed a very positive attitude toward going through troubles, and emphasizes the family.
Well, I wrote a book called Me and My Tourette's, Motivated by God. Tried to write a book, some things about my life, what I deal with Tourette's, some educational things about Tourette's, what Tourette's is, what it's about, what I've dealt with, from kid age, teenagers, being in school. There's a biography I wrote everything. There's a few parts in there where my brother and my mother wrote. My brother wrote some things in my book. So yeah, my book is a story about some things that I dealt with. A little bit it's like a melting pot of a little bit of everything, from first time being diagnosed, dealing with it at a young age, not knowing what it is, learning about it, reading up on it, dealing with life, what life throws at you, being public, school, just a little bit of everything, like, what a person, living with Tourette's, having Tourette's, making uncontrolled involuntary movements. How do you find the time to write you know, a book in the notebook and then transform it from the notepad. The written, tell you know, to write a book with a utensil, pencil or pen, right? Write it and then type it and then spend time typing it in book form on your computer. Like, that's amazing in itself doing that. Like, it was work. It was hard work. It was no joke. Tourette syndrome, yeah, it's a uncontrollable involuntary medical condition. And parts of the traces following corporeal, the noises, the vocalizations. It's categorized by all kinds of uncontrollable involuntary movements, blinking the eyes, grunting, spitting, kicking, hitting, biting, jerking, twitching, grabbing, spitting, yeah, punching, doing flips, doing cartwheels, doing obsessive compulsive movements, sometimes even having ritualistic sexual thoughts. It could be perverted, could just be a random sexual thought you're thinking about sex or someone sexy, or you know, something perverse. You know, yeah, I've seen several definitions, but the one that usually sticks is the one that breaks down all the above, like Tourette's. You know, with the movements, the noises, the body movements, what it is, what it's categorized by. You know, and what it's capable of doing. Living with it, it's not controllable. You can't control it. It's always worse. It always comes out more tighter than strong. I've had a conversation with a bunch of people on Facebook once upon a time, not too long ago, for last week, where people was asking for Tourette's, a mother, a parent, concerned parent has a child with Tourette's, and she was on Facebook asking all of us a question. She said to this Tourette's, can you suppress it? Her psychologist said, no, you can't suppress it. Yeah, you can in a way, till it's somewhere, but mind you, if you do suppress it, it comes out to like you see me ticking right now. If I hold it for a long period of time, it's going to be worse. It's going to go berserk. I'm going to tick more. I'm going to not be what I'm normally doing. It's going to come out stronger, worse. It eventually go back to its original state, but you never want to suppress it. You never want to hold it. Yeah, you can, some cases, control it. Some people can control it more than others. Telling everybody's different. You know, somebody can control it by a thought. Somebody can control it by being calm. I can control it by just thinking of something happy. I can take myself to a happy place. I'm going to say maybe a year and a half, 2, maybe more to write. When it got published in 2006. Because of just writing, you know, like I said, the process of being this younger and going out into the streets everywhere, or trying to go so many places to educate people about Tourette's, you know, not just staying in the house. I'm getting out, living in the projects. I'm out in the project neighborhood, and talking to everybody and getting acquainted with everybody, kicking it with everybody. Other back me, she was the only one. She was the one that inspired me, encouraged me to write a book. You know, she had a fistball kind of. I was like, what do you want to do? You want to write a book? You know what I'm saying? You got all in my face, and I was like, word, like, yeah, like, wow, that's crazy. You know, we should write a book. So I ended up starting to write a book. She could tell you she don't remember just jumping in my face or whatnot, just being like, you know, you need to write a book. You know, that little inspiration, and that was it. But she backed me. She gave me the $500, and the book was a lot of work. Took a lot of work. It was just, man, there's a lot, like, going outside wherever I go. It's like, this is something I can write about. Tired of experiencing somebody laughed at me, somebody said something, somebody did something I never heard before, whatever. Just nobody ever knew what Tourette's was, and being in public, those experiences is one of the many things to write about, you know.
Just because, you know, he got Tourette's, and, you know what I mean, it's like, my mama used to have to push him to do things, you know what I mean, because the outside world, you know, beating him up sometimes, you know what I mean. So I think all over the book, you know, I'm proud of him, you know what I mean, that he took the initiative to, you know what I mean, get up and try to do something with his life instead of just complaining about his situation.
Well, one, I think it's okay to ask questions. You know, occasionally there'll be someone, I remember just recently, someone was here and Myles was here and he made some kind of a noise and they jumped. And I didn't even think twice about it, but after he left, they said, oh, I'm so embarrassed. I startled, you know, and I told him, oh, he doesn't care. He is so used to that. So I think with Myles in particular, you know, it's perfectly okay to ask questions, not worry about, you know, not avoid Myles because you're afraid of jumping or getting startled, because we all do that, even now, and just enter into a regular relationship. And the great thing about Myles is he's really willing to teach people about Tourette's, and he's so patient. He's the one.
When it came down to kids, you know, they don't understand, you know what I mean, or whatnot. You look over that. But when it's a grown person, you know, I kind of look at it a little bit different. Because, like, the grown people, they get kind of aggressive. You know what I mean? Like, somebody will walk, like I said, say if we out and about, we at the park playing basketball, some guys come play basketball, my brother, you know what I mean? And they might look at them weird or keep staring at them or be like, they might make little comments, you know. Sometimes if I'm with them, I walk out and be like, hey man, my brother got Tourette's. You know what I mean? He got a condition, that's why he is the way he is, you know what I mean? And me, I know that everybody don't understand that, but like, you know, when you start to stare, the talking, to watch it, and me, I'm around. You know, some people I just like, look, they ignorant, try to let it go, you know what I mean? Sometimes I tell my brother, he might get mad, you know what I mean? And I just be like, bro, let me handle it, you feel me? Go over here and tell these people, hey man, everything's good, you know what I mean? My brother got Tourette's, and I just keep it moving.
He deals with people's, not ignorance, but lack of understanding every day, and somehow is able to patiently respond to their inquiries, to their being startled, all sorts of things. So he's just a terrific advocate in that sense, because he does not mind educating the rest of us about Tourette's syndrome.
Yeah, I was very resentful. I don't know how many times I've tried to get work and not being able. Well, part of it's the workforce. And part of it's the Tourette's. I just pretty much ignored it most of my life. Got used to it. It was just something to try to get a job with. I believe it was 1983 that I got that. This one I'm proudest of. It's got dust on it.
So actually, my first shirt was great. It was long sleeve. It was the same logo. It was just long. It was gray. And I love my Tourette syndrome, and I made it because I want people to love their Tourette's, to feel comfortable. And they can also tell people they had Tourette's without saying the word, or like this, people might want to ask them questions. You know, to feel, make people feel comfortable. You know, you rarely see you see a I love New York, I love this. You don't ever see a I love my Tourette's syndrome T-shirt, or you know. So I made a shirt, and I got some more logos we're gonna be selling. Man, it make people feel good. I love my Tourette syndrome. That's why I love my Tourette syndrome. I hope other people love theirs too.
You know, when you look up a Tourette shirt, most of the shirts you see out there are jokes.
Right.
You know, jokes about Tourette's and all.
Right.
What I really love about what you're doing is that it's Tourette's positive, and and you really have great ideas. I mean, when you have with that logo with the heart, you've got a creative. I mean, you just
go with
ideas popping out of you constantly, and they're good ideas. And even when that other customer was in here and you said, oh, that word loyal is good, you picked up on that. Now we're doing a design based on the word loyal. Right. And you were the one that identified that as the power word. You know, you went straight to that. So you've got a lot of creative gifts.
Thank you.
I don't particularly like that one. I don't like to display it. You know, look at me, I've got Tourette's. I'm not really into that.
What you don't like about the shirt? Just the logo, the color? You don't like about the color of the shirt, the I Love My Tourette Syndrome shirt? Tell them what you don't like about it. The whole shirt, the name, or the logo, or... You know just tell them the t-shirt I gave you. The first one that says I love my Tourette syndrome, the long sleeve. The gray one with the orange man, you know, the Tourette's man, like on my arm, my tattoo. Remember that one? And then you got the Tourette's is involuntary with the VOL, blown up in orange, and TriStar.
Well, I sort of differ about that. I really don't have anything to say about it. Yeah, I remember them all.
Right. You're just not fond of wearing them, huh? Can you think of the last time you wore my shirt? I remember one day, me and you had the same shirt on one day. You had yours on, I had popped up, came over to see you, and you had it on. It was kind of winter time though. It was like when it was cool. It was like fall actually, when I had it made and brought you one. I think about a month or so went by.
We're going to have to wrap this up pretty soon because my caregiver's here.
Okay. But they don't know this. It's like they don't know that what this is, where it come from, what's about. This something new to them. Something new to everybody. Something new to even the people that you don't know well, but you see them every now and then.